Hi everyone, my name is Neil Patel, and today I'm going to be going over the future of digital marketing. It's not what you think. Here's my Twitter handle. In case you have any questions, you can always tweet at me. And I've done a lot when it comes to digital marketing. I've co-founded quite a few companies. I helped a lot of large corporations like Amazon, that's in India now, to a lot of even television companies, to some of the big tech companies as well, like Microsoft and eBay. I have a lot of awards. I have a lot of testimonials as well. The purpose of all of this isn't to brag. It's more so to show you that when I give you stats and data, it's backed by experience and working with a lot of large brands versus me basing things on quote unquote gut feeling. What's unique about me is I see all sides of digital marketing. First off, I see how the platforms think because I get hit up by the platforms to work with them, such as Facebook's hit me up, Google's hit me up. But on top of that, I get a lot of traffic to my blog. So I also see it as a marketer, being someone who's blogging about marketing, practicing it. And I also see it from a client perspective as well, because I work with so many customers all over the world. We even have an ad agency in India called Neil Patel Digital India, right? So not only am I seeing how marketing's working, I'm also seeing how it's working worldwide. So let's play a little game before we get started. How many blogs do you think there are on the web? If you think there's millions or hundreds of millions, you're quite a bit off. The number is 1 billion+ blogs. That's roughly one blog for every 7 people. Just think about that. That's roughly one blog for every 7 people. Do we really need more blogs? Not really. Now, how many enterprise companies are leveraging digital marketing? It's pretty much 100%. Almost all large corporations are using digital marketing now. And why are startups raising hundreds of millions of dollars, if not billions of dollars? It's mainly for sales and marketing. And what percentage of the searches will be voice searches by the end of this year? It's roughly 50+%. That's a lot. And if you think about Google's revenue, even during a recession, they've continually grown. Now, I know right now during COVID-19, we've seen some ad costs drop, especially on Google and Facebook, but it's quickly starting to come back, and I bet you it's going to increase and be more than it was last year very soon. So would you like to learn what I know when it comes to digital marketing? Let's get started. Fact number 1, marketing is going omni-channel. Right now, so I interviewed and surveyed over 200 large corporations. And we started looking at their stats and their data so that we can give you industry trends on where performance or digital marketing is going. And if you look at marketing spend by channel, as you can see, Google AdWords is where the majority of the spend is going, then Facebook ads, then SEO, then content marketing, then social media marketing, and then other. But when you look at conversion rate by channel, right, you're seeing Google AdWords, and that makes sense because you can type in any keyword and you can find the results based on that keyword. When you do Facebook ads, the cost is cheaper, but you can't necessarily target a keyword. And that's why the conversion rate is usually lower. SEO, whenever you rank organically, you have to have a lot of text-based content. That usually drops your conversion rate. Then, of course, social media. A lot of people who come from social web that's not paid ads don't convert well. And then there's, of course, other marketing channels. And then when you look at the average number of social shares per post, we're seeing a trend that it's been declining over time. Yes, social sites are very popular, but when you're linking out to your own website, we are seeing that the reach is continually declining, and we expect that trend to continue as well. When we look at where content is being published, a lot of people are publishing it on their own blog, but we're seeing a huge uptick in people publishing on Medium, Tumblr, also posting their full blog posts on Facebook, posting their video content on YouTube, LinkedIn. Pretty much people are repurposing their content, trying to place it all over the web, and we're seeing that as a big trend. What percentage of your organic search traffic goes to your blog? We're also seeing this continually rise. In other words, more and more traffic is going to blogs. If you're not blogging right now, you should definitely consider blogging. It's a great source of traffic, especially in the long run. And we don't see this taking up 70 or 80% of the traffic in the long run, but we see it definitely being above 60% and holding pretty strong in the long run. What portion of your customers first found you through your blog? It's quite a large base. See, when you create content, you're building that relationship with the audience. You're building trust. So when someone finds you from your blog, they're getting to know you. They're building that trust. They're much more likely to convert into a customer. People don't like just buying from random companies. They don't always trust them. So creating a blog also will help you get more customers because maybe they don't convert right then and there, but they'll build that relationship with you over time. What has led to your biggest traffic gains? And here's something that's interesting. Translations is huge. There's not too many people that are translating their content. Most people are blogging more, but what you can see is translating your content going after other regions has done quite well. Updating your content has done quite well as well, because if there's over 1 billion blogs, there's already a lot of content. But Google doesn't want to rank old, stale content. They want to rank fresh content. And the easy way to have fresh content is by going out there and updating your content. Now, we've done some interesting tests. For example, I've translated my content to Hindi, and that didn't work too well. Or as I've learned from many people in India, you don't want to translate it to Hindi, you want to translate it to Hinglish, as they call it, because some keywords are in English, some keywords are in Hindi. But when we did that, we didn't really see an increase in traffic. So it doesn't always work, but we've seen definitely big gains when we translated it to Portuguese, German, Spanish, Japanese, French. So you can translate in many, many different regions as well. What channel provides companies with the biggest ROI? Now, if you're wondering, what we've seen, believe it or not, is conversion rate optimization. So you see it mainly in the other category on those charts, but the reason conversion rate optimization does so well is little incremental gains provide massive lifts in all your other channels. But what's funny is very few companies spend money on conversion rate optimization because it's not sexy. So I highly recommend in your 2020 strategy, you really start looking at conversion rate optimization. Now, what's cool about going omni-channel is it's not hard to see what's working for your competition. There's a lot of tools like SEMrush that you can use and pay for, or if you want a freemium version, you can also check out Uber Suggest. And it shows you, what keywords people are ranking for. You can also use what runs where to see what ads are all over the web, and that'll give you ideas of what's working. You can also use Facebook's ad library. You can also use BuiltWith to see what technology your competition's using. Like this will show you if people are using A/B testing and things like that. You can also use tools like Ahrefs to see who's linking to your competition. You can also use Wayback Machine to see variations of your competition's page. So you can see if they're running A/B tests and the changes that they've made over time, because that'll give you an idea of where they're going and what you need to do and what changes you need to make to maximize your conversion rate. I also love using Link Explorer My Moz. It gives a lot of data on backlinks. Do you want to guess what happens to CPAs when you go omni-channel? Well, your cost per acquisition drastically go down. And we've seen this time and time again. When you go omni-channel, you usually see CPAs go down by 10% or more. Fact number 2, user metrics are the key to beating Google. You don't have to increase rankings to get more search traffic. So here's one of my older sites. I no longer own it. I sold it. It's called Nutrition Secrets, and I sold it years and years ago. And my audience asked me to create a website on something that I wasn't familiar with, and that was nutrition. And like, Neil, we challenge you to get more traffic. And I did it. And in less than a year, we drove good income, but we also quickly got up to over 100,000 visitors a month. So what I want you to do is sign up to Google Search Console. And when you sign up, under search traffic, search analytics, I want you to click on the clicks, CTR, and impressions. And you'll be able to see the pages that are driving you good traffic and have very high impressions, but the click-through rate is really low. So as you can see here, some of the results are driving over 240,000 impressions, but only 10,000 clicks, which isn't that many compared to how many impressions they're getting. And I want you to click on those pages and I want you to look at the top keywords and look at which ones are driving a ton of impressions and very few clicks. These are the ones that you need to modify, and maybe you would include these keywords within your text of your content, maybe include it in your title tags, maybe in your title of the post. This will all help you get more clicks and more traffic. So some quick ways to increase your click-through rate. See, because when someone does a search on Google, and if everyone clicks on the second result instead of the first result, what do you think Google does? It moves the second result above the first result. They switch the placements, right? So number one will become number two will become number one. And you do that by increasing your click-through rate. And you can do that by looking for keywords that have less than a 5% click-through rate. You want to look for pages that have less than a 4% click-through rate. You want to make sure that those keywords are within your title tag and your content. And you also want to add them to your meta description tag. And once you do that, you want to go back into Google Search Console, have them recrawl your website. And some keywords that will help you increase your click-through rate are how to, list-oriented numbers like 11 ways to lose weight in 30 days, the word free, you, tips, blog posts, why, best, tricks, great. These are all words that we found that really help increase click-through rate. And as I mentioned, once you update your content, you want to re-index it within Google and submit to index. Once you do that, your page will be re-indexed, and then boom, within 30 days, you should see results of more traffic within Google. Eventually, user metrics will be the key to beating all platforms. When you think about Facebook, what do you think is the number one thing that costs a post to go viral? It's actually not likes, it's actually not shares, it's comments. See, it takes more effort to leave a comment. And the more people that leave a comment, it tells Facebook or Instagram that, hey, if everyone's willing to write long comments, there's something good about this post, and we should consider making it go viral. Fact number 3, you have to focus on branding. If you think about some of the biggest companies in the world, you don't Google Coca-Cola, you just want Coke. When you want shoes and you're doing it for athletics, you want Nike shoes. If you want a car, you may want Toyota, BMW, Honda, Mercedes, because their brands. You don't always Google. You want a credit card, you may think Visa, MasterCard. It's because all these companies have good brands. This is a quote from Google's ex-CEO. Brands are the solution, not the problem. Brands are how you sort out the cesspool. In other words, he's saying that, hey, Google has a way of saying, hey, these good brands over here and these bad brands, we know that they're different. And Google's ex-head of Websend, Matt Cutts, said something very similar. Now, when we look at companies like Expedia, they did an experiment. Expedia is a travel company that offers cheap booking prices worldwide. And they have many properties, Expedia, Hotels.com. They owned, I believe, part of Trivago and TripAdvisor, and the list goes on and on. And they did an experiment. Even though everyone knows their brand, at least in the US, because they're a multi-billion-dollar company, they did something interesting where they ran television ads, radio ads, did pay-per-click ads. They went omni-channel, but they pushed really hard on branding. And guess what they found? What they found is their numbers went through the roof. Not only did their CPAs go down, but it helped keep their brand top of mind, and their traffic went up and their CPAs went down. So even if you have an established brand, you want to continually keep spending on branding because it just helps. So the key to building a brand is following the rule of 7. When someone sees you or interacts with you 7 times, they're much more likely to engage. So building a brand is a really good way or getting your brand out there, making sure people see it 7 times is a really strong way to build a solid brand. If you look at me, I'll do YouTube videos, I'll do a podcast, I'll do blog posts, I'll post on social media, I'll go live on Instagram. All these things help people see me multiple times. I'll do push notifications, I'll do email marketing, right? All these things help with the rule of 7. So here are some tips. Emails are still effective. Use push notifications in combination with email. Don't forget about chatbots, especially on platforms like Facebook, right? There's Mobile Monkey, there's ManyChat. They're all good tools. ManyChat's free. You guys should check it out. You want to use tools like Google Search Console because they can help give you tips on what's working, or even Google Trends to see if your brand is growing over time. Google Correlate is a tool that I love. It no longer exists, but I want to show it. And the reason I want to show it here is because it shows you related keywords. And you can use tools like Ubersuggest to find the related keywords, but this is data from Google. And the reason I want to show it is you can see that in Google's eyes, when people type in hotels, other related terms are like tours, rentals, inn. So when you're building your brand and trying to get your message out there, Remember, don't just look for exact keywords. It could also be related keywords. And you can see this data from Google that these numbers are correlated for some of these other keywords. So it just shows you when you're building your brand, don't just go after the exact keyword that you're trying to target. Go after other related keywords within your space. That's how you dominate. That's how you get your brand out there. With my old site, Nutrition Secrets, it's grown over time, ends up having a lot of referring domains. And one of the main ways was from building a brand and doing marketing. And even though the traffic went up and it kept going up all the time, I learned something. That traffic is great, but it's not everything. And with my old startup, even Kissmetrics, I raised quite a bit of venture capital. The company eventually ended up failing, and I had good traffic. And my competition had, let's say, 3 times less traffic than me. And their valuation during their peak was $865 million. If you had to guess, what do you think our valuation is? And we didn't even have 3 times, we had 3 times more traffic. But if they had an $865 million valuation, what do you think my valuation is with more traffic? Now, I already told you the company ended up failing. At this time, years and years ago, we didn't even have 1/10 of a valuation. That taught me that traffic isn't everything. The real key, the real formula to success is traffic, but more focus on conversions is what leads to success, right? Traffic plus conversions cubed, more focus on conversions, is what really relates to success. And what you'll learn is conventional CRO techniques won't work well. You have to get creative. So here's what I mean. There's lead magnets, and you've probably seen this. There's one of my favorite blogs. It's from a fellow Indian, Ramit Sethi. It's a blog called I Will Teach You Rich, and he teaches you good financial tips. He'll give you a chapter of his book for an email address, right? That's an example of email lead magnet. And emails are very powerful. As you can see on one of my blogs, email consistently drives a ton of traffic. See, it's also one of your highest converting channels. And that's why I recommend that everyone collects emails. And emails really generate sales. This is with the Instagram account that had millions of followers, and in a short period of time, they sent everyone to a landing page, and then they started selling products. Here's more examples of email, the step-by-step guide to massive traffic generation. You either click yes or no. If you click yes, I'll say, hey, put in your email address to get more traffic tips. If you say no, I'll say, congratulations on having massive traffic. Now enter your email to double your conversion rate, right? These are all ways you can choose to collect emails. Another one is from aha to oh shit, I'm sharing everything on my journey to 100,000 monthly visitors. I'm learning a lot, and so will you. And you can even do this with e-commerce companies, collect emails for 10% off coupons. It works for B2C, B2B, it works for all industries. You can even, if you're a software company, ask for an email address in exchange for a peek of the software. You can even block off video content, ask people to put in an email to view more. You can even, when they put in an email, send them PDFs and cheat sheets that even have pitches to your company to drive more conversions. And for example, with that company, if you put in your email address, at the end of the PDF, they pitch you on hiring their company. Emails are not only responsible for 19% of our leads, but they make up 28% of our qualified leads. Now, tools to create lead magnets. HelloBar is free. ClickFunnels are lead pages, which is great if you have, let's say, $1,000. Bounce Exchange, if you have maybe $100,000+ a year, this solution works well. So some tips: if you ask a yes or no question first, you'll typically generate 20 to 30% more leads. Journeys and courses convert better than ebooks by 16%. You should have multiple lead magnet offerings throughout your website, like your homepage, your blog, your header, your exit pop-up. A good lead magnet will generate 5 emails for every 100 unique visitors. And Neil Patel generates roughly 7.4 emails for every 100 visitors. So how do you figure out what lead magnet to offer? I want you to survey your visitors using SurveyMonkey. Ask them, what can I help you with? And SurveyMonkey is free to use. You can also use BuzzSumo to see what's hot in your space. Here's an example of BuzzSumo. You put in a keyword and it'll tell you what's popular. Fact number 5, marketing is a team effort. There's no I in team. So how many of you work with, let's say, your sales team? Here's an example of us remarketing. A salesperson sends out emails, and what we'll do is we'll use companies like AdRoll, and we'll remarket them and send them banner ads for all the people that we've emailed out. And that's helped increase sales by 18%. Simple little hack. You can even do that with ebooks. So when you email people in your audience and you're selling them, you could even remarket them and show them your sales offers. Sales and marketing aren't the only departments that work closely together. Design, right? Product, they can all work closely together with each other. Fact number 6, marketing is too expensive and data needs to drive decisions. Conversion optimization is like dating. If I ask you, will you marry me? You're going to be like, no, you're crazy, Neil. I don't know you. See, but if you get to know me and we date for a long time and we get to know each other and then we move into each other, and then maybe after a few years, if I ask you, will you marry me? There's a much better chance you'll say yes. Most marketing funnels look like this. People visited your website, signed up, and then they use the feature and you ask them, all right, great, keep paying me. See, but why not flip around your funnel? With one of my old companies, I no longer own it, we would end up asking you to put in your email address, use the application, set it up, and then at the end, we would ask you to buy. But we would let you use it and set everything up first to engage with the visitor. By switching around the funnel, we increased our signups by 52.11%. Here's another example of this is Crew. They have a website called How Much to Make an App. With How Much to Make an App, you would go through it, you take a quiz, they ask you many questions, you click the responses, and at the end, they collect a lead from you. And that works extremely well because people are now interacting first versus asking for information for a lead. And that increased leads by 281% when we tested this out. So some quiz tips. Start with 5 questions, no more than 4 options per question. Use images when possible. And tools like lead quizzes can help you do this. The other thing I want you to try out is a 2-step checkout. So instead of asking for name, email, credit card, password, everything on one page, just ask for their email, password on one step, and then on the second step, ask them for their credit card information. Yes, companies like Amazon may be able to do it on one page or Flipkart, but we don't have as big of a brand as them. So you need to consider doing 2 steps because you'll typically see a 10% increase in sales by doing that. Personalize the experience. So with one of my home pages, I would put the city in there. Do you want more traffic? Hey, I'm Neil Patel. I'm determined to make a business in Las Vegas or London or Bangalore more successful. My only question is, will it be yours? And then you would put in a URL and we'd get your information and collect a lead. But because we would keep changing the city to your city, it increased conversions because it was much more personalized. 31% increase in leads. So some personalization tips. Insert the user city using maxmind.com. The city won't always be 100% accurate, but it's okay, it still works. And use personalization throughout your text. We also do something where when we get a lead, we try to schedule a call right then and there for our sales reps, if they're qualified. And what we found out is this little thing has helped boost conversion rates because now a rep no longer has to call the leads. And they schedule it right then and there, goes in their calendar, and we've seen a 49% increase in calls. So all these little things help, and they work for both B2B and B2C. Like the 2-step checkout you can do for B2C or B2B. The quizzes you can do for B2B or B2C. The sales scheduling, of course, that only works for B2B, but you get the point. Technically, if you're doing sales calls and you're selling, high-end coaching products for B2C, you can also do the scheduling calls as well. So fact number 7, to win, you have to think like a winner. What do all winners have in common? Just look at these 3 people. Mark Zuckerberg, created Facebook. Michael Jordan, one of the best basketball players of all time. Michael Phelps, popular American Olympic swimmer. He has some of the records for medals. But when you think about them, what do they all have in common? It's not that their names all starts with the M. It's not that they're all men. There's a lot of powerful women out there who have succeeded, who have won, who have changed the world in a positive light as well. It's that these people have all had coaches and mentors. See, you can't all do it on your own. Mark Zuckerberg has Sean Parker who helped him succeed. And if it wasn't for Sean Parker, we would be using the Facebook instead of Facebook. Michael Jordan had Phil Jackson. He taught him a lot about playing basketball and he coached him. Michael Phelps, he had a coach as well. You need to invest in mentorship and learn from the best. If you wanted to climb Mount Everest, would you just fly over to Nepal with no training and start climbing without a Sherpa? Of course not. You may even die. You would want to get trained because if you train, you're much more likely to succeed. It doesn't have to cost money either. You can read blogs, watch videos, listen to podcasts. Your competition is talking about all their numbers online, but have you taken the time to learn from them? Mentorship doesn't have to cost money, so try to always constantly learn. Marketing never stops. What works today may not work tomorrow, so the best approach is to always test, to always learn, and to always experiment. That's how you get better. And you're going to be overwhelmed with the information that I've presented and the information out there, so just focus on the low-hanging fruit. There are 3 types of people: those that make things happen, those that watch things happen, and those are wondering, what just happened? Be the person that makes things happen. So that's it. And if I were you, you're probably wondering, what would I do? I would take one thing that you've learned from this presentation and apply it. You don't have to do everything. Just take one thing and apply it, and it will change your marketing. Thank you very much. If you need help with your marketing, check out my ad agency, Neil Patel Digital India. We're here to help you grow.